Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about MST3K Live, the 30th anniversary tour. I did see the tour. I did not see both shows because I'm not made of money or nothing. I chose to see Deathstalker 2 because there are less chances to see that, and time-wise that worked out for my schedule was really the real reason. But it was an amazing time, possibly more momentous than the first tour, although still pretty momentous. The first tour being that they started this precedent of MST3K, or Mystery Science Theater, of course, going on live tours with Jonah and the Bots, and this one brought together Jonah and the Bots and Joel Robinson, obviously played by Joel Hodgson, who was on the last tour, but this time he's in the theater riffing with them. That was amazing. That's the first time he's done a live riff thing, I believe, since Cinematic Titanic, and for some reason I almost forgot that. It was just more like, I go to the Mads anytime they're in New York. I go to, which I obviously did a review of that. I obviously went to the last tour, and you know what, I think I knew, but I was just like, I'm going to this, and then I realized Joel is riffing in the theater, and it was just like amazing. We basically haven't, between the last tour and this tour, we actually haven't had new episodes. This is kind of a hype up for the 30th anniversary, which is on the 24th of November. This tour does not go until that. It stops before Thanksgiving. Part of me is like, that would be amazing to see Mystery Science Theater live on Thanksgiving, but I don't want to do that to the people who like have to go on tour. So on the 24th, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, will be the 30th anniversary. But this leads up to that. It leads right up to right before the Thanksgiving week, which is also when the new season premieres. So it's cool that we had one tour kind of concluding, kind of almost like a victory lap, like we brought it back, we're having it be live, and this is almost like a hype up, like let's do it even bigger and have Joel come back. And it was absolutely hilarious. You know, one of the things I don't like about this tour is that people who can't see it sort of miss it, but the energy in the room of like getting to see kind of this once in a lifetime thing. There's something like, I always love being in a room full of Misties, like whether it be, I've only been to the one Riff Tracks, which was the Mystery Science Theater kind of reunion mashup. It was like the first time we got to see Jonah riff with Joel, actually, which is sort of interesting to think of that. With this one, I was like, this is the first time we've publicly, I guess, seen them riff together. They can riff by themselves all they want, and I thought that was hilarious. This was also absolutely hilarious. But there's certain energy of Misties in an audience together is just like so much fun, and there's not enough times we've gotten to do that. And before the recent revival and getting everything back, I really just hadn't gotten to do that since the movie, which was a long time ago now, like 20 years ago. And it's awesome that we're all like back together, you know, doing this again. And which is weird, is that I think the energy and the fandom, and maybe this is more about the fandom or how I feel about the fandom or something, than the actual event, because I think the event and the concert was absolutely hilarious and really funny. Like, even though Joel's there, it doesn't feel as once in a lifetime, because now I'm like expecting, like, well, between 12 and 13 I'm going to get another tour, and I'm going to be at the PlayStation Theater in Times Square again and doing this. And yeah, I totally expect that now. Part of me is like, is Mike ever going to go on tour with Jonah or not? Because Joel's very much involved in this. I don't think Mike is, but that would be, I wouldn't mind seeing that tour as well. I don't think he will, because he's got his own shit going on. But having them all together doing Deathstalker 2, which apparently they were going to do Deathstalker 1, but they had to cut out inappropriate stuff, and it was too short, so they went with Deathstalker 2. But that was a fun B-movie because it is horrible, but it's like horrible in that sort of enjoyable way that I think works really well with riffing. You know, not that I'd like watch it by myself without riffing, but I could see it'd be a fun movie to sit there and make fun of. And I think that really works with this movie. Seeing them all together, everyone had such great chemistry. I'm curious what the writing credits are on the live tour. Maybe that's in the program guide, which I didn't want to pay for. I'd be curious who wrote on it. I know Rebecca Hansen did. I'm assuming everyone performing did, like Joel and Jonah. It seemed like Joel and Jonah kind of sensibilities. They had some good lines. Like, one was like, was this movie's science department cut for budgetary reasons? Because there seems to be a lack of chemistry. Oh, that is the one, I guess, thing about this is last time we got Hampton Youth as Crow. This time we have Tim Ryder again, who does a great Tom Servo, and Grant Bicocco, I think, who's the lead puppeteer for the TV show, and he played Crow in this. I actually think if Baron Vaughn is ever going to leave, then Tim Ryder should do it, in my mind. There's not a bone guy this time. There's actually not even a kind of pre-recorded segment from Kinga and Max, or Felicia Day and Patton Oswalt. I'm not sure exactly why that didn't happen, or like they were too busy or something. It feels like less people in the tour this time, even though you have Joel. So it's kind of like, it sort of makes up for that you have Joel and Jonah. Any complaints I had about like, well, you're not getting Baron and Hampton, you're not getting this and that. You're getting Joel in the theater as Joel Robinson. Like, holy shit. I did notice there were a lot more fans in the audience. Maybe this is just my observation of the classic show, not necessarily the new show. I know there is sort of a division for some people. When I bring up the new show, they're like, yeah, I haven't really watched that. I quite like the new show. I'm fine with it. I know the riffing style is different. It seemed to, that is one thing, it seemed to work well. Like, Joel was still being Joel. He wasn't Joel by way of the new, faster riffing style, and Jonah was still Jonah. And if you've seen the reunion kind of special thing that they did with riff tracks, their chemistry worked together, even though it's a very much different generational joke style. They seem to balance each other out in an interesting way. Like, I would actually say, like, Joel could come back with Jonah, and it would actually work very well. And it worked within this. But there did seem to be more people from the older fan base, which was good, because I'm like, hey, guys, come over. There's good episodes. You should check them out. Like they're on Netflix. But I'm glad to, like, get people in, kind of, like, get the old... Because that seems to be one thing that Mystery Science Theater and the fandom is so good at, is being like, hey, let's all like kind of come together, we're all like kind of into the same stuff. You know, one of the things that Riff Tracks event did was like kind of bury any fandom hatchets that were still around or something. I'm sure it was more to like just promote everybody at the same time, but in terms of, I knew a lot of people are like, oh, so Mike and Joel don't hate each other, even though I don't think they ever said that, and there's no animosity towards Jonah or anybody like that. So it was good for that, you know, not that we're like, it's really kind of a talk shit kind of fandom, but you know what I mean. But one thing about this is it's way more of a live show. The previous one felt like an episode just done live, and I was like happy with that, no problem here. But I think the thing about it with this is they did things like you could ask the bots questions. They didn't get to Myros and the bleachers back there though, but they did have a thing where you could ask the bots questions and things like that, and that was pretty funny. The invention exchange was automatic cosplay kind of thing, which they brought back twice. It had more of a live show kind of vibe to it, and I'm fine with that. I don't think, like the last one, I was wondering, where does this fit into the continuity, blah 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 blah, and in this one I was more like, you know, whatever. And I know it's like we should really just relax, but I still think about this. And I heard more people wondering last tour, where does this fit into the continuity, and this one they're like, hey, we're gonna see a Mystery Science Theater live, cool. And I think that's kind of the vibe here. I didn't buy a shirt this time because it's like expensive, and I like this shirt a lot, and I didn't really feel as passionate about any of the shirts there. They did have some cool merch. They had a turkey, just a stuffed animal turkey. Maybe I should have gotten that for my daughter. Wasn't in love with the merchandise, but I did have a really, really great time. Obviously, this is a must-see for any Mystery Science Theater fan because you get to see Joel riff. Joel with Jonah riffing, and it's hilarious. And I saw about, I guess it was the third performance of Deathstalker. I don't know what the brain is like because I didn't do that. I know there were a lot of people who did both shows, but it is quite expensive. It is becoming less of a, oh my god, this is like the first time I'm ever going to get to do this, holy shit kind of thing. But it's still fun. I still laughed the entire time. I thought all the kind of host segment things were pretty good, and they were able to, you know, between the intermission things, everything, they were more acknowledging it as a live show, and I'm fine with it going on as a live show. I know they've talked about doing more live show stuff, and I'm absolutely game for it. It feels like, despite this being kind of the 30th anniversary year of Mystery Science Theater since it first aired on KTMA. Oh, and by the now I remember something. There was an awesome theme song segment cut up of like all the theme songs with a KTMA bumper at the beginning, which I was like, I thought was really cool. I hope they release that on YouTube or something when the tour is over. That is like an awesome little video they made. Like, it should not just be tour video, you know. That was really cool. I was like, okay, I am ready. 30th anniversary. This is a good way to get us into it. I'm like primed for the new season. Oh, there was a doctor. I guess this is a spoiler, so you've watched most of the review if you're at this point. There's a B-movie doctor segment, which is a preview for season 12, or so they told all of us. They said it's a preview of season 12, and she'll be in it more. And she came back, actually. I don't even know who played her. Some of the stuff isn't online. I didn't write it down, and like I should have asked somebody, but it was a cool idea, this B-movie monster doctor who like takes care of B-movie monsters. I thought that was it was a funny segment, and she was cool. I don't know who she was, Maybe she was on a Revival League podcast I didn't listen to. I like that there's a little preview of season 12. It really does like kind of lead you down the path of going like, oh, I gotta watch season 12 when it comes out on Thanksgiving. That was a good segment. And there weren't any last time there were people like the head writer and Frank Conniff were there, but I think Frank's on tour doing the Mads are back, and maybe the head writer was there. They didn't announce it this time, so I don't know. Maybe they showed up to the other show. I don't know. It was an amazing show. It was an amazing night. I highly, highly recommend it for Mystery Science Theater fans. You get to see Joel and Jonah together. I sort of wish there was a film of it that would release like the live shows as like a concert movie or something like that, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do that because they didn't do that last time with the last one. The exclusive one, not EGA. I highly recommend this for Mystery Science Theater fans. I am absolutely hyped for season 12, and I hope you get to see this tour. If it is coming around where you are and you have the availability and the money, it is absolutely amazing and absolutely a must-see for Mystery Science Theater fans. And you get to see Joel Robinson return to the Satellite of Love. It's definitely worth it. So if you have seen Mystery Science Theater Live, the 30th anniversary tour, and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.